God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Yeah, yeah. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Those in the house and those online. Good morning. So if you look right up here at that camera right there and wave to the folks online, and hopefully tomorrow caught up with us there. All right. So good to have you here this morning. I think you all know who I am. In case we have some new folks online, my name's Reverend Mike McMorrow. I'm the spiritual director here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California, where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. We have a little thing that we like to do here called hugs and handshakes. If you're at home, just hug yourself.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy. In every life we have some trouble, but when you worry you make it double. Don't worry, be happy. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Don't worry, be happy. La 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 la. La la la. Ain't got no place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. The landlord say your rent is late. He might have to litigate. Don't worry, be happy. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Reverend Mike is happy. La 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 la. La 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 la. Kitty, are you happy?
One more time. Here we go.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Here we go right here.
La 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 la.
You can clap. Nicely done. Let's welcome our assistant minister, the lovely Reverend Nancy Woods. And we're all going to take a deep, conscious breath. Exhale. Allow ourselves to just surrender to this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. That fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. The second candle we light for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center. And as Reverend Nancy lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
And this love that we are recognizing this morning and acknowledging is the love of the universe, that love that is able to do all things, that love that is so powerful, there is nothing opposite of it. And in this recognition of this love, we embrace the idea that we have gathered here in awareness that this love is in each and every one of us. And as we embrace this idea that we are the love of the universe in expression, we realize that we're calling forth the truth of our being, for it is an ongoing, expanding awareness, expression. And as it comes forth into an expression in this service this morning, and we know it does, through the songs that are sung, the message that is delivered, through the greeting that we have, this love reveals itself. And we say it's infinite, so there's always more. So we can rejoice in this moment to know that we are stepping into an hour in which we are experiencing a blessing. So we know with a united consciousness that we appreciate this time, this opportunity, and this experience. And we know that the law that is saying yes to the words and the thoughts that I'm expressing. We join together in its activation as we say, and so it is. Good morning. I want to talk about my favorite topic, love. When I was reading the literature for what I was going to say this morning, so I read different things and see which one clicks. And it seems like it's almost like everybody was talking about this love. Some love of your body, love of the society, you know, and it seems like everything I picked up was talking about it. So it was a reminder to me that this love that we're talking about is so far beyond this frivolous love things that we talk about on these day-to-day. And this love is not subject to the physicality that we think of love in our everyday life. But even though it comes out through that way sometimes. But the thing that made me feel good about it was that when he starts telling me, this love is in my body, it's in my mind, it's in everything that I am, and that this love cannot be touched or taken down or decreased no matter what I'm doing, and that I have total access to it. I am so grateful when I think about it, and because sometimes the words that go through my mind and the things I say doesn't sound loving, but I can't take anything away from it. So it's like, okay, this is good, because that means that my body is the loving expression of God. My mind is the loving expression of God. My thoughts are the loving expression of God. I just need to open my heart to embrace it. And the thoughts I think are not the power so much as the thought that's coming from my heart is where this love pulls me, my expression of good from. So it's that we have the ability to go from good to a greater good, from an experience, no matter what it is. It is a joyous experience if we can open our hearts to see this love in another soul. And it is in everybody, absolutely everybody. There is nobody that doesn't have it. It's up to us to see it. So the world is filled with loving people, no matter what we think of them on a small level. It's still God in expression. And thank you for letting me share that.
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to see you. Please welcome David and Kent and the band. All right. Special thank you, because I called them at the last minute. Please thank Kitty and Terry for singing backgrounds today. And I would like to mention that our next, our special singer for today has a new CD for sale, which she will be selling after. So please welcome Ms. Angela Carol Brown. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come from living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place
where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and holiness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Break down. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Here we go, break it down. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Thank you for that reminder. Did you know that about yourself? That you are the place where God lives, moves, and breathes and has its being. We are the place where God shows up. So thank you for showing up today. Beloved community. So, just a quick question. Does anybody know when our board meetings are? Our board meetings are on the third Sunday of every month. And you are all invited to attend them whenever you want. So just in case you're interested in coming in July, we had to switch our date because Reverend Mike's going to be out of town in July on the third Sunday. So we're meeting, our next board meeting is July 9th. It's a Monday. And we're meeting at 1 o'clock. And you're all invited. You're cordially invited to attend any of our board meetings whenever you want. So we would love to have your input and your feedback as to how we're doing as a board. And consider this your formal invitation. Also, our financials are available for your review whenever you'd like to see them, as well as our minutes. So all you have to do is ask. Probably we're going to start posting them in Sparks Hall for your perusal if you're interested in what we're doing with the money that you so generously are giving to our community. So, having said that, there's a couple of other things that I want to announce before we start showing the announcements up there, and that is Kirtan Kara. Who was here for Kirtan Kara when they were here in our community? They are just really wonderful. So if you missed them when they were here, they're going to be at the Onion on Friday the 29th at 7 o'clock. So that's this coming Friday at the Onion, which is a fantastic venue if you have never been there. It's over on Haskell and North Hills between Lassen and Plummer or something like that, yes. And they will be there Friday night. So if you haven't had a chance to participate with Kirtan and Kirtan Kara specifically, come out and support them. And lastly, I just want to remind you that the practitioners are available to you for prayer whenever you want to receive prayer. So after service, we're available. If you want to be added to the prayer list where we'll hold you in prayer for 30 days, fill out a prayer request form. There should be one in your program. If not, there's one at the front desk. Okay, so let's look at the announcements. Today at 1 o'clock here in the sanctuary is our bereavement support group, lovingly facilitated by Reverend Jessica and Reverend Kathy, I think, is facilitating today. I don't see Jessica. Next, we have Spiritual Sangha is cinema this quarter, or whatever you want to call it. And they're showing wonderful films about people we need to know. So that's going on. Visioning is every second and fourth Wednesday night at 6 o'clock with Reverend Mike. Is that going to continue while Reverend Maureen is doing her? Yeah, okay. So if you're interested in participating in the visioning process for our church, that's every second and fourth Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and usually in Reverend Mike's office. Our Wednesday night healing meditation service, we'll have our, is it the last one this Wednesday night? Until and then Reverend Maureen is going to be, you could switch to the next slide right here. Write it down, make it happen with Reverend Maureen. It's an 8-week course, July 11th till August 29th. And that will take the place of our healing meditation service, but it's well worth it, I'm sure. Sangha, Ethics 101 on Wednesdays begins also July 11th to July 25th at 9:30. And then get your bathing suits ready and your beach towels ready because we're having a barbecue and pool party on Saturday, July 28th. There's a sign up in Sparks Hall. First come, first serve. There's only 25 people. The first 25 who pay, get in. And I think that's, 4 Wednesdays in August, starting in August, Nancy Shriver is going to be doing some Tai Chi for us here probably in Sparks Hall, I would imagine. And that's it. If you don't need your program, leave it behind and we'll recycle it. Okay? Thank you so much.
So would you stand and say the Declaration of Principles with us? We believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnate in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal too, and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the Lord wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We
rise. Let's give it up for Angela Carol Brown and her and the Grenadiettes, backing them up. Always great. Thank you. And welcome to Sunday service. Nice to see all of you here. I'll share this with you. So it may not seem like it, but I actually do have intentions every week when I get up here. And it is my intention mainly to do two things. One is to invite you to leave the outside world at the threshold for an hour or so and claim this space and this time as your own, right? To do your work, right? The second is to create an atmosphere through the various components of the service, and I know Ken is committed to this as well, through the message, through the music, through the practitioners, through the atmosphere, through your presence, through all of it, to perhaps bring comfort, to inspire, maybe nudge you towards an insight to your own life that allows you to look at things differently, in a different way. Hopefully in a more open, thoughtful way that has love and compassion in it. At the same time, I also understand and support the idea that you are here to have your own experience, regardless of what I think of that, right? Or what the practitioners think of that. And that in your own way, have this experience in your own way with your own guidelines. And that each of us carries with us our own cares and concerns and the perceptions and the experience, life experience that we have that inform them. So I want to be respectful in my provocations. But make no mistake, I am here to be provocative, if possible, to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. So all of this is the preface to set up the talk title today, creating a spiritual chain reaction. Now this talk title is a chapter, an essay, I suppose, by Ernest Holmes from his correspondence course. This is what the book, Living the Science of Mind, is. It's a compilation. And the reason why it's so popular within religious science is that Holmes lets whatever hair he has, he lets it down, right? So that he acknowledges, in Living the Science of Mind, he acknowledges the human condition a lot more. And he gives us strategies and methods of how to address that in the field of metaphysics, which is what we are here. We're a center for spiritual living, and we're a metaphysical church. What that means is that we're seeing beyond the world of conditions to that condition that we know is possible, for the idea itself impresses itself upon the mind of God itself, expressing as you and as me, to bring forth that which we are thinking about. Pretty bold claim, really, when you think about it. So one of these essays is entitled Creating a Chain Reaction. And so we all know what a chain reaction is, right? So here's an atomic chain reaction, right? But maybe a barroom explanation would be more accessible. So instead of a chain reaction, right? So the idea in a chain reaction is that given enough force, energy, and focus, man can do anything. Men and women can do anything. And knowing what we know, knowing that we have infinite possibilities for good available to us, to be amazing beyond measure, to be amazing beyond ways that we can even conceive about, right? We look out into the outer world, and what do we see? We look out into the outer world and we have concerns about so many things, about the state of politics, the state of the world, the state of our planet, which leads, of course, to the 51st state of our union, which is the state of confusion. So we look out there, particularly in these last few weeks, and we think about people that we know and love. We think about our children or our grandchildren. We think about friends and neighbors, and we may fret a bit, if not shed a tear or two. We may even be angry a bit. We think of the children we don't know and the suffering inflicted upon them and what is to be done about it. So with all the drama that's been going down at the border, I would invite you to consider the idea that in a strange cosmic pair of opposites kind of way, that this administration has done us a great favor by bringing our attention to this crisis at our own border. Because now it's not in Syria, right? And we're concerned about a few thousand, Turkey was dealing with tens of thousands of people, right? So we're getting more aware of that, right? And in that awareness, we can bring consciousness. Because what we know is that whatever is being revealed to be healed. So one thing that we can do about that is to create a spiritual chain reaction. And here, this image of a pool table, I think, is actually more appropriate than the atomic model. Because in the atomic idea, you're taking an atom and you're splitting atoms. And so the two products then are diminished in some way, right? But in this, using this metaphor, the cue ball, right? At the pool table, that the energy of the cue ball breaks the rack and then disperses the balls in direct relation to the energy behind the ball. So spiritual chain reaction works in much the same way, but instead of a cue ball, we have an idea. We have an idea, and as religious scientists, we know the inherent power of ideas. And more than that, we know that there is only as much power in that thought as the energy that we put behind it. And we also know that as people of faith, we know that there's infinite power available to us to propel any idea launched from the mind in a conscious way into a solid, observable demonstration in the outer world of our consciousness. This, I think, is such a bold claim. And yet, as Holmes says, don't take my word for it, prove it to yourself. So, Holmes speaks to the power of a particular idea that can be helpful in this particular situation. When he asks, did you ever notice the contagion of a happy person? Right? One who has an enthusiastic joy for living, that their spirit permeates those around them, and the contagion of that personality influences his environment to such an extent that it can finally change it. We've all known people like this, yeah? So I wanted to tease out this idea and consider for a moment, I wanted to tease out this word contagion. Contagion that Holmes is using and play with that for a moment. So considering the metaphor of contagions, accepting the idea that great ideas can spread like a contagion of good, could not the inverse be true about dark ideas? Could it also be true that thoughts trigger feelings of envy, of judgment, separation, otherness, even despair or outrage? Right? That these ideas and feelings can also be equally as contagious. Yes? So the question I put for us, before you and myself as well today, which contagion do we want to spread? And if we are committed to being change agents for good, our work is to heal the thinking that is in opposition to peace, to harmony, compassion, understanding, and love, so that we are moving towards that rather than away in fear. So this isn't like the Monty Python, run away, but rather knowing that we are one with the infinite power and presence of the divine, we are moving to it. But in peace, in harmony, in tolerance and understanding. So Holmes goes on to say that we are sure you've had the experience of finding yourself more or less frustrated and confused and beginning to wonder what life is all about. And then you have had an experience or the privilege of sitting down quietly with someone whose atmosphere is permeated with peace and confidence. And gradually, you have felt the rough edges of our agitation disappear until finally our own atmosphere changes and we are filled with a sense of hope and confidence. Can I get an amen? Yes. So the laboratory then, this is Holmes again, the laboratory in which we work is our own mind. That's the laboratory. Our instruments are our thoughts, and the method is affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment and meditation. So meditation draws us close to the divine reality so that we sense its atmosphere and feel its presence. Now, I say moving towards it, but really what we're doing is we're opening. Right where we are, we're opening. And we think about, so as Holmes points out, and we know this to be true because it is self-evident, like so many things he says, that when we think about peace, we become peaceful. And it is out of this feeling of peace, this is the place we speak, our affirmation of power. And it's from this peace that we affirm the presence of love and truth and goodness, because our prayer of affirmation works exactly like any other law in nature. And that signs will follow our belief. So he's also saying there, signs will, and he rarely uses will, but he's recognizing that sometimes there is a process in the creative process. And as we attune our eyesight with insight, we see the signs. This strengthens our faith, and then we step into a whole new way of being. We have a shift in consciousness. We have shifted and lifted our consciousness from the current way that we understand the world into a new way. So, I want you to indulge with me today a little bit. So I'm going to ask you to uncross your legs, uncross your arms. All right? Maybe let's bring the lights down just a wee bit, Michael. And let's just take a deep, conscious breath and release it. And feel the release in that. You can even sigh it out if you want. Feel the vibration in that. Take a deep breath. Sigh that one out. Yes. Take one more deep breath. Releasing that. So maybe this is what Jesus meant when he said, shake the dust from your sandals, right? So that's what we're doing right now, that we are now bringing our attention to the movement of the breath in our nose, breathing through our nose, focusing on that. The in-breath, the exhale. The in-breath, the exhale, breathing naturally at your own pace. And as you bring your attention to the movement of the breath, the mind begins to still. And in that stillness then, we release any attachment to What's he doing next? What's going on? Where are we headed? And just surrendering to this moment. Breathing easily and naturally. And now know with me that you are breathing in light, breathing in divine light everywhere present. Exhaling love. Again, easily and effortlessly, that we are breathing in light, exhaling love. So our breath then becomes a cosmic bellows. Now we're fanning the flame of that light of divinity within our own heart center, because we know this is where the answer lies. That what is not necessary is to open our mind, but to open our heart. So we're going to do that right now. That with each breath we're seeing that light of the divine expanding a little bit more. So it's starting out the size of maybe a softball, expanding out to a basketball. And now beyond your torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom. Staying with the breath, expanding even more. So now we are sitting in the very light of the divine itself. And now it's commingling with our brothers and sisters here in the sanctuary, and even those at home. That this very sanctuary now has become a field of light, a field of love. And all we have done is bring forth the divine that's already within us. So from this place, let's start with knowing for ourselves, our body temple, because we can't do much if we don't feel right. So let's just know that right here in this light of the divine, that we are aligning even now with the pattern of perfection that is already within all of it. That is the divine aligning with itself by means of our body temple, so that every molecule, every cell, every muscle, every sinew, every bone, every organ, our circulatory system, our respiratory system, every neuron, every wrinkle of our cortex is enlightened and enlivened with the divine itself right now in this moment. So from this place, we are opened up. We are opened up. Can you feel the love in the room? If the emotions come, just let them come. So feeling the love in the room right now, I would invite you that if you've ever felt discriminated against in any way, because of your race or ethnicity, that means any race, by the way. Take a breath. Release that. Now feel yourself being loved right now in this room. You are being loved and being restored and brought to wholeness by the love in this room right now. Taking a breath. Releasing. If you have ever been discriminated against because of whom you love, breathe with that. Take a deep breath. Release that. And allow ourselves to feel the love within this moment and heal that. Possibly we've discriminated against people about who they love. We can breathe into that and feel the love that heals all things within that. If you've ever felt discriminated against because of your immigration status, feel it. Take a breath, release that, and know that you are loved right now, that each one of your brothers and sisters in consciousness here and at home is loving you up right now. That we see you. Taking a deep breath. If you've ever felt less than because of your education or career choices, how you make your daily bread. Sit with that. Let's take a deep breath and release that. So finally then, I would invite you to consider someone with whom you may be in discord with, to bring them to mind. Maybe someone out on the outer world on the big stage, or someone within the circle of your own influence. Just acknowledging that. And breathing the light and love of the divine within that. Exhaling, releasing. So what we know about that is what Holmes says when he says it's wonderful to realize that we can sit in the quiet of our own being and consciously direct a power greater than we are for the definite purpose of helping ourselves and someone else. This power should be used for both purposes. For we have to get back to this simple proposition. We clear our own consciousness first in order that we may realize our ability and then use that to lift others. So let's just, taking another deep breath as we call the magicians, the musicians, the musicians and the magicians forward and our singers. And just taking a deep breath, releasing that and just recognizing and knowing that in this moment the power and presence of the divine is present, and present right where you are, right where you sit. The infinite power, the infinite presence, the love of the divine is expressing as each one of us right now, even me. This is a very powerful idea. And as we recognize this truth for ourselves, we recognize it for all beings. That we know within our own consciousness that we have an idea. We have an idea of what it is to know peace on earth, goodwill towards men. That we are calling that idea forth right now. That this is our spiritual contagion that we are unleashing not only unto the law, but to life itself. That each one of us today in our own way affirms and commits to being a contagion of good, a contagion of love, of peace, of harmony and understanding. That we step beyond the ways of our own wounded feelings of resentment or outrage, and take the energy, claim that back, and do what is ours to do. First in consciousness, first in peace and love and understanding, compassion, tolerance, loving kindness for all beings. We start this chain reaction of love right now from this very center, that we are sending it out to the cosmos itself, to our community of Los Angeles, our state, our nation, our planet. We know it cannot return to us void. So we just release it all now. And in that sweetness of release, we know that it is done, for it is impressing itself right now upon an infinite law of mind that only knows to say yes. Yes, my beloved, yes, in you I am well pleased. So get out there and get it done. See you next week.
battered and torn. Still I can see the light, tattered and worn, and I must kneel to fight. Friend of mine, what can you spare? I know sometimes it gets cold out there when my legs no longer carry, and the warm wind chills my bones. I reach for Mother Mary, and I shall not walk alone. Hope is alive while we're apart. Only tears speak from my heart. Break the chains that hold us down, and we shall be forever bound. When I'm tired and I'm weary and a long, long way from home, I reach for Mother Mary, and I shall not walk alone. Beauty that we left behind, how shall we tomorrow find? Set aside our weight in sin, so that we can live again. When my legs no longer carry, and the warm wind chills my bones, I reach for Mother Mary, and I shall not walk alone. I reach for Mother Mary, and I shall not walk
That was beautiful. Let's give them some more love, shall we? Yeah. Receive it. Receive it. Band 2. Thank you, gentlemen. It's lovely. All right, so as we prepare our gifts for the offering, let's invite our ushers to come forward.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me.
Spirit lives and breathes through me. Oh, Spirit lives and breathes through me.
Nice. So just staying within for a moment longer, recognizing and knowing that the gifts presented here this morning are a demonstration of consciousness presented through the heart of the individual, knowing that God is our source, our substance, our supply. And so through this act of generosity, we, representing the heart of this community, accept these gifts with deep respect and love, knowing together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless the life of each one here this morning, the mission and vision for this Center for Spiritual Living, and anyone connected to it in any way. That we extend these glad tidings and knowing to our friends in our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well, that all of it is out picturing from the very mind of the divine itself. And our job is to see it by knowing it's there. So our eye sees beyond what we think we see, using the gift of insight. We know the greater truth being revealed in this moment. This lifts our hearts. We feel a sense of power and grace that propels us into ways of spiritual living that lift ourselves and others, and that's a good thing. And together we acknowledge that by saying, and so it is. So please help me thank two of our board members, Ms. Marcy Cowan and Andrea Reck. Bring the kids on up, and the biggest kid of them all, Dr. Maureen Hoyt, who's going to just give us a couple minutes about her class.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. How are you all?
Hi, how are you doing?
Listen, Reverend Mike did a promo for my class that I'm having. Absolutely, totally and completely. He does not know that I'm doing this, but anybody who signs up for the class gets a free copy of the CD from today. Because
what?
Yes, what? I'll pay for them. It's a talk that I need to listen to over and over and over again. I'm looking out and I see God. I'm looking out. I see God. That first song that Angela sang this morning is the whole premise behind Write It Down and Make It Happen. And what Reverend Mike said about creating a contagion, as many people who sign up for this class are going to create a contagion of success. When I first discovered that I was the obstacle to my achieving what I wanted in life, it broke my heart, because I always thought that I was incredibly giving, incredibly receptive, and yet the block in every one of the successes in my life prior to seeing and hearing Edwene Gaines all those years ago was my own belief about my life. And so I am not, nor have I ever been, the problem. What I think about is the problem. And through this class, we are going to shift thinking in a way that is profoundly affecting, and it's going to change the way you view the world situation as well. Because I cannot project out onto, who can I say? Donald Trump. I cannot project onto Donald Trump anything that I myself am unwilling to do or to change.
Or Nancy Pelosi.
Or anybody else for that matter. Yes, anybody else for that matter. The thing that I know about this class is that it shifted 40 people the last time I gave the class. 40 people had a shift in consciousness. And if you come to the class and you're willing to do the work, I guarantee, money back guarantee, that something in your life is going to change for the better. And, you know, how would it be with you if life got easier? That's a great question to ask, wouldn't you say? How would it be if life got easier? It's an 8-week class. It's 16 hours out of your life to affect change in a way that is, like I said, profound. And it is not just about me, but it's about the other people in the class that come along with you. And it is an energy that is, it's life-changing. I keep saying that, but it is. It is life-changing. So if you sign up today, those who've already signed up get a free copy of today's CD. Don't listen to it in the car because you can't close your eyes and do the, while you're driving. I'm making a disclaimer on that one. But listen to it on your computer at least every day, once a day before the class starts, because you'll prime the pump for change to happen. And when you do that, you can't help but have change. Health, wealth, creative expression, and relationships. All of that will be included in this. So if you're challenged by any of those, guess what, folks? If it's going to change, it's up to each one of us to make the change ourselves. So there you go. That's it. All right?
So as you can see, Dr. Maureen is the closer. Yes. All right. So hi, guys. I'm so excited for you. You got some big news coming up, right? So what'd you do in class today? Who's our spokesperson? Oh, okay. Tell them who you are.
Hello, I am Sydney. And today we got a generous donation from some people at Nikki's work, I believe. And how much money did they give us altogether? $825. So we have $825 towards teen camp. So that's pretty great. So we all wrote thank you notes to them today. And after that, we talked about teen camp and what we should bring, and we're all going to have a great time. So again, thank you to everyone who donated at our fundraisers, our bake sales, all of that stuff. So thank you very much.
Yes, and you guys worked really hard this year with your fundraising, so good job. Are you excited, Josh, about going to camp? Yeah, it's going to be great. You bet, it's going to be great. Oh, sorry.
Hello.
Hi, Jane. How are you?
I'm
Go
good.
ahead and hold the mic.
Okay.
Tell them what you guys did.
Well, today we're talking about the steps of treatment, and we played a little game. And basically, we're talking about how in the game we were using the steps of treatment. And I really had a fun time today.
Good.
And that's all.
Thank you. And thank you, parents, for getting your kids here. Oh, anything else? Would you like to add anything? We're good. Okay. All right. And I bet you're good, too, because now 11:40. All right. So let's invite our ministers and practitioners to circle the room as we do our closing prayer treatment. Thank you all for being here today and participating in my little exercise there.
You don't need that, do we? So as we circle this room in love, We circulated in the idea that this love that is filling every aspect of this room. As we love each other and know that we're each other's support, we go forth from this experience recognizing the power that is within us, this wonderful love that is able to do all things. And as we fill up with it here, we go out to spread it to all the people in our experience. And it is with a consciousness of knowing this truth that we leave this room knowing our lives are on a greater and more expanded path. So I welcome each person here to just open their heart, allow it to flow in, knowing that the abundance is all around us. We acknowledge this love and this experience as we say together, and so it is.
Please stand for the peace song.